Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. About to get started here in a sec. Get my show going and rolling on the road here on this fine Wednesday. We've had some great shows today. Make sure I'm here in the center. Had some great shows today. What is up, everybody? Raymond, Chris, Mr. Mad. Yes, Chris, I'm the blackest one here. I still may have that title. I think that title might be in contention. Who owns it, at least, right? What's up, Ivana? What's up, cuz? Lord Bibby. Hake. Ivana. I already said Ivana. Red Scout. Nice. And everybody else coming in. Cole Berger, what's up, man? Let me say hi to y'all. Because we're going to get going here. Should be a nice Wednesday. Going to be getting into some things. As well as your calls at 888-775-3773. You want to go ahead and call in. Jump on the air. Say your piece. If you're over on Rumble, let me say hi to you guys. Everybody over on Rumble. They're milling about. The party's going. The music's going. And they're milling about. They're on their phones, but they're chilling. What's up, Mildew Grew, Ohio Sentinel, and the Hake Report? Welcome. Like I said, it's a fine Wednesday. Great shows today. Great shows. In fact, is that all the housekeeping here? I think that's everything. If there's anything else, I'll get to it. But the point is, there's some good shows today. In fact, Hake, James Hake of the Hake Report. You know the Hake Report. If you don't, definitely want to check it out. TheHakeReport.com. It's a show on the network. I'm on. This show you're watching is on the Bond Network, okay? Jesse Lee Peterson's network. And he had a call. Hake had an interesting call on his show. He made a comment about the media, the lying media, and how it's understandable for him that they don't report on the out-of-control black crime anymore. And it was an interesting comment, and the call itself, definitely check it out. You could podcast his show live at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. And so it was just an interesting comment. It got me thinking and all that. Because, the media wasn't always so untrustworthy. It feels like definitely people I'm around, but even lately, even the liberals, for some of us, that's a metric. For some of us, that's a bit of a litmus test. Even the liberals. But it's true that most people, to me, it seems like when I talk to them, not so really trusting of what the media says and their motivations. They're at least a little suspicious that it's not just about reporting the news, saying the truth, okay? But it wasn't always like that. So I'm sure many of you know this, okay? I didn't really quite grow up with the trust of it, but not a distrust of the media. If it was on TV, it was on the news, I thought probably like anybody else, it's significant. So it wasn't always like that. We can thank even a big change in the general consciousness. We can thank this paradigm shift in part to Donald Trump. Donald Trump and his presidency. 2016, and his saga with the media. I see them back there. He'd point to the cameras. Oh, and they're gonna say, oh, Trump, da 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 da. That's what they're gonna say tomorrow. But we know, right? We know. There, the lights went off. He would say, when he would say something true that the media doesn't want to report. He would say, there, the lights, I see the lights going off, the little record lights on the cameras of the mainstream media at his rallies. I'm also reminded, in part, of a little man known as Don Lemon. I don't know how little, if he's really that little. 5'10". Ooh, sorry, Don Lemon. Ladies, all ladies, every single woman on this planet sees you as diminutive because you're not 6 feet. At least that's what these people online tell me. Sorry, Don Lemon, but I guess Don Lemon doesn't matter, right? Because doesn't swing that way. Not important. Because I'm talking about when Don Lemon was a little bit more honest about the media, about black crime in particular. Some of you might remember segments he would do on CNN. If you don't know who I'm talking about Don Lemon. You know this guy? I think we're going to need Lil Nick for this report. I didn't do the pop sound right. There he is. There's Lil Nicky. So, Lil Nicky, what do you think? Okay, anyways. You know who I'm talking about, but if you don't know, he's on the screen. And you know him from his reporting on CNN, which is infamous now for repeating conspiracy theories out like baseless, ridiculous, nutty conspiracies like racism and, I don't know, like police brutality. Like, what weirdos. But you also might remember his reporting on black crime and black people, his commentary on black Americans as a little bit more honest, telling them to pull up their pants. You guys remember that? You guys have seen videos. Maybe if you haven't, he used to speak in that way. Just a little bit of honesty. Pull up your pants, he told them, the blacks. And if you pay attention, you start seeing how the media really is just like people. It's just like people. Just like anybody else. You could see Don Lemon, okay, coming in to work, armed with a pen and paper, facing the black menace. I'm sorry, my eyes went wide for a second. I think I was channeling Kaiser Bismarck. The menace. No, okay. Let's go back to reality. This isn't World War I. You can see Don Lemon armed with pen and paper, ready to face what's plaguing his black brothers and sisters. But the waves are just too great, and they slam down any inches and millimeters of progress, and it drowns all. Okay, the waves in this analogy is the unstoppable progress of this civilization into hell, led by, in part, the blacks. In some ways, right? The breakdown of the family, crime, etc. So that's the waves, and that's what Don Lemon couldn't handle. Faced with it, what are you going to do? What can I really change? How can I really do any good here? What minds can I really convince? You can imagine all journalists, most, if not all, with a similar journey in some way, right? Journalists, journos. Let's not hate the journalists. They too were once doughy-eyed, bow-tied, donning Don Lemons. You know what I mean? And then I'm reminded of Jesse, for example, Jesse Lee Peterson, when he started off, and how you know, he saw the truth. And he's like, I got to tell people. I'm all excited. People need to hear this. And he had a different expectation of what people's reaction would be. Because when he went on the radio, the first few times, if not the first time, he was faced with a whole bunch of angry black callers. And he was shocked. He would later describe going home and telling himself, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. All the hate I got, this is too difficult. I may be recounting this story wrong in some way, but I'm somewhat accurate here. But he kept going. Jesse kept going. But, you know, you can imagine all sorts of people not expecting that. Don Lemon, I wonder if he knew he would get hated for telling blacks to pull up their pants. And, you know, you see how people get jaded, you know, either you push through or people just keep getting worse, and then you get jaded. And you see everything getting worse. Nobody really listening. People just getting mad. And you give up on the blacks. Or really, you give up on the truth, on what you think is the truth, and telling the truth and being on the side of truth, which I think is a more accurate description for people. I think all people kind of operate like that. And of course, they're the people too afraid to say anything. Greedy people. Who would rather keep their stuff in their own. And you have to wonder, how did they become that way? Maybe they too were once a Don Lemon and thought, nothing's changing. Time to worry about my bottom dollar here. You know what I mean? The tired, the afraid, the ignorant, the greedy. You see how the failure of the media reflects a failure in the conversation at large with all people. So, interesting call there with Hake. Very, very interesting. Thank you. I forget the caller's name, but very nice. What are you guys saying about this? Yep. You can imagine a lot of people on a similar beat, if you will. You know what I mean? The tired, the afraid, the ignorant, the greedy. And then all the people growing up, while the people before them won't say what's up, are afraid themselves of the media, of losing stuff, whatever. You see the people, the generations after them, they have no chance, okay? And so that's just a little bit on the relationship between the media and the people. They are the same. You heard this before, but I like finding, you know, from Jesse Lee Peterson, you may have heard this, but I like finding demonstrating this in examples. I like it, okay? Yep. Oh, I have the wrong chat open. Let me see what you guys are saying. Donnie Jr., I heard about that, him getting hacked. I need to be raised up. Am I not loud enough? Do I got to turn up my mic, y'all? Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Esoteric. Always with the good commentary there, saying my YouTube headline game very strong. You like my YouTube headline game? I use all the tricks, very clickbaity. Not always. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's mysterious. Sometimes I go full clickbait. I'll just write crazy like Trump goes pro-choice. What? It's over is the title of my YouTube stream right now for those that are listening in the podcast. It reads, Trump goes pro-choice in all caps with 3 question marks. What? 2 exclamation marks? A number 1, an exclamation mark? I was really incredulous. So incredulous, I forgot to press shift while pressing the exclamation. Anyways. Trump abortion. You see this title. Has Lil Nicky turned? Has Lil Nicky turned on Trump? Have you? Have you turned? Wait. I bet you I could do this interesting. So have you turned, Lil Nicky? No. Tune in and to hear the commentary. I'll figure this out with the green screen. I'm messing around with the green screen for those listening. So there's you've heard a little bit about this. 2 different instances that has conservatives, Trump supporters, maybe DeSantis supporters, criticizing the President Trump. 2 instances. One you saw recently, I think, on the JLP show. Trump going, about some question about being a woman with Megyn Kelly. He was asked about that, if a man can become a woman. He says, since I have it here, why not? Why not? Megyn Kelly, the Megyn Kelly show. On Megyn Kelly's show, Trump. See? So, okay, that was the moment. People are a little like eyebrow raising on this one. Saying, really? Anything other than a full-throated no is ridiculous, is what some are saying. Indefensible, this person who posted this says. Indefensible. Time to find out who all the frauds are on the right. Are we about to find out the anchor baby's a fraud? Wait, you guys didn't? Lord. You guys didn't already know? Anyways. Megyn Kelly, can a man become a woman? Trump, The other story, the other instance here is some comments on abortion, okay? And we have the Politico article here to help us out with this. Politico. GOP governors who passed abortion bans hit Trump for calling restrictions a terrible thing. Staunchly anti-abortion Republican governors who have shepherded abortion restrictions in their states are piling on to Donald Trump for his recent comment labeling Florida's 6-week abortion ban a terrible thing. It's never a terrible thing to protect innocent life, says this Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds. I believe, isn't Trump speaking in Iowa today, if not right now? Is that Iowa that he's speaking in, I believe? What the? I believe it might be. What's up, Wiggle Man? Tio? That's new names I have never seen. Zuzu. What's up, everybody? I thought Trump was always pro-choice. Oh, was he? I wouldn't be surprised. Governor Kim Reynolds here, jumping on the bandwagon here, saying it's never a terrible thing. Okay? Other governors, Ron DeSantis, Brian Kemp, Georgia, making similar comments, highlighting the state leader's focus on restricting access to the procedure. Trump looking toward a general election as he runs away with the Republican primary race. Thank you, Politico. We all already know that one. I think what he did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. Trump told NBC's Kristen Welker in an interview that aired Sunday on Meet the Press. Did Hake talk about this? I forget. I thought he may have only mentioned the other part. Hake in the chat says, Trump once described himself as very pro-choice, but after his grandchild was born, he became pro-life, but with exceptions. There you go. An individual going through life and free man talking and believing what he believes. So he says, I think what he did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. Trump told NBC, referring to the 6-week abortion ban DeSantis signed in April. Okay? And so he's taking a whole bunch of heat, apparently, from other conservatives. And I'm seeing this, MAGA people on Twitter, etc., kind of wondering the same thing, okay? So imagine, like, here's the thing for me, though. Here's the thing for me. People are have all this, I don't know, have totally inflated the presidency and the election and a bunch of things here. A whole bunch of things. 2016 came around. It was like, and it's been like historic ever since. And so people right now, I guess, they want to vote for a savior. But not just of like politics in the country, but I don't know, of their morality, their souls. Because for a second, let's say you're like, okay, these abortion comments, too far for me. Bryson Gray on Twitter, in fact, brought up an interesting discussion on how there are Christians who are, they're saying he says here, in fact, let me just show you the tweet. He says, hey, only Trumpers, let's put emotions aside. Okay, Bryson, that is good starting point. I mean, anyways, he says, clearly you see that Christians and pro-lifers are willing to not vote for Trump over abortion. Is your plan really to attack them and bank on being able to replace those voters with moderates and liberals? And it's an interesting discussion. But yeah, it's interesting, right? So don't go around attacking. Is your plan really to attack them? If you're a Christian, you should know that doesn't really work. You can't really convince people, especially not attacking them. Just speak the truth and move on. And but anyway, and replacing them with moderates and liberals, I mean, it doesn't sound like a sound strategy. But he's saying, let's put emotions aside. Well, tell that to the Christians and the pro-lifers. Tell that to the Christians and the pro-lifers who are saying they're willing to not vote for Trump over this abortion comment. Tell them to put emotions aside. Okay? Because I think that's what it is. It's emotional. Because let's follow this logic for a second. So you're a person and you don't want to vote for Trump anymore over this. You're a Christian. That is major to you. Ever since abortion has started, it's basically child sacrifice to you, and there's been millions of child sacrifices, and it's got to stop. Okay, in the year of that mentality. And so imagine you got what you wanted, and you got like a candidate that's staunchly anti-abortion. Somehow you got someone other than Trump, and it worked out. But the people are still messed up. The people are still retarded, like that Indian Swami Guru guy talking about democracy. If he was let's say you picked a good president. If he was a good president, he would let people govern themselves, as the Constitution says, no? State laws, local government, right? Top from the bottom up, etc. Roe v. Wade is an example of that. Hello, didn't Trump kind of pave the way to that? You could say that. So back to this though. So you get your president that's anti-abortion, and although he should let the people govern themselves, let's say and you're okay with it. I don't know. Some way, somehow, this president that's good and you love him and he's anti-abortion stops all abortion in the country. But then the people are still messed up. My point being is we want Trump as a president. Okay, yeah, he's an example. Yes, he has an effect on the country beyond politics. But we want him as a president to do presidential things and run the country as a good president can and should. So you get your anti-abortion president, but the country's still a mess. And then, I don't know, endless wars and welfare state, whatever litany of other immoral things going on, bring it down. We want him to do presidential things and run the country, okay? Okay? And it seems like when the whole apparatus turns on you like that, you know, something interesting is going on. Anyways, that's what we want the president for. And so Bryson Gray, appreciate his the topics he brings up, puts out a poll saying, is winning an election more important than the life of the unborn? What should I click here, guys? What do I click? He said he put out a poll here on Twitter. He says, is winning an election more important than the life of the unborn? Now, I know I'm supposed to click no. Look, David Lee, the first comment here responding to Bryson Gray, says, straw man argument. Bryson responds, it's a real question. Okay, fine. It might be a little bit of a straw man, but it's also a real question. Because I know I'm supposed to click no. How many people click no? Let's see. 81% of people click no. And it's like, fine. When you put it like that, it could be seen as a straw man to say an election is more important than the life of the unborn. It's like, well, no, an election is not more important than the life of the unborn. And so I guess you get to respond, well, then why are you putting Trump above the unborn? But it's a silly kind of question, honestly. It's kind of a silly, empty question in context here, right? Because the answer is supposed to be no. But obviously it's pigeonholing Trump as thinking of himself as more important than the life of the unborn. Or if you vote for him, that means you care. It's more important that an election is more important than the life of the unborn. It's really silly. I'm not picking the president for that. We shouldn't be picking the president like that. Okay? And Roe v. Wade, y'all. Roe v. Wade. You got him pegged wrong. Anyways, I don't want him. I want him to just let the states do their thing. And many of these states will probably be very immoral. I mean, everybody's pretty much immoral in this country. It's just the kind of wrong view of things. Am I making some sense here, y'all? So where was I? Winning an election more important. Here's another thing, though. I know I'm supposed to click no. And I think the obvious answer is no. But when you really think about it, the life of the unborn, more important. Like, none of it's really important in that I wonder, we give it more importance, I think, than God himself does. You know what I mean? Like, babies die every day. Babies die every day and God exists. That doesn't mean God hates babies, but I'm just saying here. So obviously I've said this before already. You guys already know this, that I'm not with the abortion stuff. I don't even think in a grape, my bad, after a grape or incest or whatever. Okay, maybe incest. We can't afford the genetic sullying. No, that's a joke. That's pretty rare, I think, anyways. But even rape and stuff. I'm not with the abortion because for a number of reasons. The big overarching theme for me is giving that power of God to the wrong people, to the woman, to the government. And in this whole abortion talk, whose authority and whose say and who gets put all the way at the bottom, the man. So there's something quite evil about it. Not like man is God, but there's something upside down about this whole thing. So no, not with that. The justification of what's it called? Irresponsibility in the women, and the weaponization of the whole thing against the man. That you need abortion in the first place because of the patriarchy, if I can summarize it. We got here because of them. So that's, you guys know me, where I'm about. But I think it's silly, just this whole turning. A Christian would know when to ask these questions and when to shut up. in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to counter unless Bryson Gray. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you have some disagreements and you're not supportive and your support is still in the air. That's one thing. But I'm not going to go counter signaling and nitpicking, like, for what? Yeah, I support Trump, but right, he's an individual still. Look, kind of rambling now. Where was I? I wanted to be the president, do presidential things, and run the country like a president can and should, okay? Silver Bullet Sniper, what's up? New name? Abortion is a elite conspiracy to let the populace kill itself and contain its numbers. Just like the sexual revolution, the alphabet people, anti-conception. Let the plebs kill itself. What's wrong with the plebs? Why are they killing themselves? What's up, Harmony? Tommy Likey, Tommy Want Wingy in the chat. That's a funny name, new name. Tommy Likey. Okay. Right on, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for chatting away. Make sure you get in there. Jump in there, chat away. It gets the engagement going. If you like the stream, if you're here enjoying it, like the stream. If you don't, leave a comment. Or if you do, and get the engagement going. That's one way you can support. Get the energy going. Mildew Grew, what's up? Distracting you from work. Welcome. Okay. All right, y'all. This is what I got for you. That's kind of my thoughts on the whole the Trump fiasco. I think I could change my title. Nah. The saga. I was perusing Twitter and I came across some JLP, should I say, the spirit of JLP's genetic code embedded in the words of people out there in the internets. There's people online having a conversation about marriage and waiting till marriage, sex out of wedlock, etc. This woman on Twitter who goes by 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. She says she's not an esoteric femininity account. I don't know what that is. But she got some conversation going with this tweet about women and girls are sold the lie. Let me see if I can copy pasta here and show you. Women and girls are sold the lie that no man will wait till marriage for them. They are told this is not only an unrealistic request of a man, but also a completely unreasonable one. They are made to feel like an outcast for even desiring such a thing, and then they become demoralized and peer pressured into conforming to the status quo. Everything in our culture is designed to gaslight and condition us into degeneracy. Says Jade here on Twitter. Got a little conversation going that caught my attention. It caught this person's attention. Still Gray on Twitter. Ian Mouse Chong. This guy also stumbled upon this conversation here. And it kicks off here with someone commenting, quote tweeting Jade there. Jade is commenting on this world and how it's pushing people into this degeneracy. Some of the degeneracy we kind of talked about. Okay? And that women have to just conform to the status quo. They become demoralized and peer pressured into not waiting till marriage. I think there's true things to what she's saying here. But anyways, the story goes that here's a kicking it off here with the responses is nightmare vision. Okay, there's people online. Nightmare vision here says delusional trad take where women only have sex due to pressure, as if they don't constantly initiate it in relationships, and often treat being denied it as deep rejection. Okay? All right, nightmare vision. I mean, there's some truth to what you said, too. But check this out. This person here, future Moldovan citizen. What's that? What's Moldova? Is that a real place? Moldova. Landlocked country in Eastern Europe. This guy says, this person, who's named himself future Moldovan citizen, writes, respectfully disagree. Women don't particularly like sex. They just like controlling men. When you deny them sex, you are denying them power. That's why they get angry. You saw through their power play and thwarted it. Based future Moldovan citizen. Y'all seeing the parallel? I'm sensing some of that JLP influence, which I welcome it. I think it's great. I like documenting it, but I think it's great. I'm telling you, we've done it on this show multiple times. People in these different spaces, young people, you've heard their names, some of them. The Sneekos, the Zerkas, even the Destinies have been, in my opinion, positively influenced by JLP. And they speak about what they spoke about with him. Pearl Davis, I heard. In fact, I was given a nice little report by a viewer of the show on Pearl Davis. And, well, he's saying that am I buffering? Hello. Am I buffering? Testing. Oh no. Oh no. Have the buffers begun? It's fine. I heard Pearl Davis. Now, this viewer said that she's shamelessly lifting. She's shamelessly ripping off JLP. I personally, it's fine. I don't mind. You know, can we get a little shout out though, Pearl Davis? Can you like? It's like, you know. I know he's controversial. I know he's more base than most people can handle. And so maybe some people, you know, adopted the message a little. Look, I'm not saying she didn't. Look, I'm just making jokes here. I did say her name, Pearl Davis. This viewer said that she's lifting. I think it's more like stealing like an artist. Stealing like an artist, which is a great thing. It's lifting. I think it's great. Okay? I remember saying in church once, I don't mind ripping off Jesse Lee Peterson. But don't be JLP thumping. The cool thing about Pearl, I think she uses her own words, which indicates to me it's not thumping. Not to say that if I use the words, it is thumping. Okay, getting lost in the weeds here. We're talking about this conversation here. Future Moldovan citizen, very based, says the women, they want the control, not the sex. This Anon replies, they seem to enjoy it quite a lot in my experience. Says Cov Fifi Anon here on Twitter. So that's cool. I think JLP influence a little bit. Okay, in my opinion, maybe not. Maybe it is. We're gonna ring the alert here and say that's a JLP alert. Okay, we're gonna say that. Do I have a JLP alert? I used to have a little drop on the JLP show. It was like a siren when someone spoke. When we found a JLP viewer.
Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you could do about him because he's number one. Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you can do about him because he's number one. I
think that's good. Okay. Ripping off the truth is not possible. Right on, Kohlberger Art. I feel the same way. So, here's what's funny about this. I just was reading this and thinking about the JLP influence, but also that whole thing about control and all that. Right on, future Moldovan citizen, putting it out there, telling how it is. I think a lot of people don't quite understand this whole thing. And ego, really. We talk about ego on this network with Jesse on my show. And that, it can get maybe a little confusing. Because it's like, what is it, right? I think it's best demonstrated sometimes. The ego, okay? And I think here's a good example. I think there's a good way of demonstrating it. The ego, okay? Because you would think, I think a lot of people don't identify. Like, for example, women take the whole thing badly. I think they take it badly. I mean, besides the sting of it being true, that women want control, I think women take it badly because people in general, they don't identify with being controlling. Even the most controlling of people don't think of themselves that way. Okay? They don't really identify with that word. They don't think of themselves as controlling. But they'll admit to, I don't know, feeling a little hurt should they be rejected. Should sex be rejected, for example. Okay? And I think that happens with men and women. Rejections. In marriages even. And that bad feeling you get, that is the controlling. That is the controlling ego nature itself. That bad feeling you get of being hurt, of thinking, oh, am I not good enough? Does he not want me? This person, future Moldovan citizen, writes, you are denying them the power. That's why they get angry. But I don't think most people have that understanding of themselves. Most people don't really have that understanding. This is a deeper understanding. When Jesse talks about women wanting control, that requires some examination. I don't think most women even know that's what they're doing. I don't think, like the same way most men don't know that they're having sex with mommy. Gross. So yeah, it requires a little examination, and so these women, they don't see themselves that way. So, what was I going to say? But the feeling, that's what is the controlling, okay? It is the feeling. It is the feeling of an intelligent being, a force, the fear of the devil. Okay, that is how the devil feels. And so what is that feeling? Break it down. Well, you don't like that the other person, in your estimation, has rejected you for whatever reason, sexually. Which means what? Doesn't like your looks, is not into you anymore, whatever. And you don't like that. You don't like that you believe that they're not into you. And you want that to be different. You want them to be into you. That is the ego itself. That is, I'm not trying to be groundbreaking here. It's just maybe easy to miss. Maybe some might find this interesting. I bet you most of you already know this. But you understand where I'm coming from? I don't think most people realize that's what that feeling is. Not only is it not them, that is the ego, but that is controlling. That is, by definition, controlling. Mommy, everyone's saying mommy in the chat. Stop saying mommy in the chat. That's how you make them say mommy. That's how you make them say mommy in this chat. Okay. So that's what that feeling is. That's what the feeling is. Okay? Wanted to demonstrate that. Kind of a little thing here. JLP influence. Kind of cool. We need to get it's coming, y'all. JLP. Ooh, no. Let's just keep it a secret. But I'm telling you, there's people out here who have major respect for Jesse, and his influence is there. Okay? So super cool. Nice. Jade and all those people in that conversation. Where was I? Yep. Speaking of all this, let me say, being enlightened till I rise, what's up? Thank you, my member channel supporter over there on Rumble, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Being enlightened till I rise, thank you. Oh, Sneeko definitely soaked in the lessons of JLP. Yeah, at least it seemed that way. I agree. And I pay a little bit of attention. I'm out there listening to stuff and watching these guys. Like, guys, Ethan Ralph. I know it's like, oh, base this person or that person. And you're like, okay, Ethan Ralph. Okay, he's cool. And, but it's gossip and whatever. Blindsided, out of nowhere, Ethan Ralph, Saint Ethan Ralph, being the example to all the being the example for the alt-righters and younger younger Hitler guys and and the alt-right, they're like, they're based as heck and they got the info. But who'd have thunk it? It would be Ethan Ralph to forgive and be an example. Huh? With JLP. You guys see that with Jesse Lee Peterson? You might have missed it because it wasn't on YouTube. So if you missed Ethan Ralph with Jesse Lee Peterson, you got to go on Rumble. That man is banned. And you know what they do with the banned mans? They ban other mans who are associated with the banned mans. So watch Ethan Ralph taking Jesse Lee Peterson's advice in his latest interview with Jesse on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Great stuff. Super based. What's up, Santino? Johnny G. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Raymond. Eddie Guerrero. What do you know about Eddie Guerrero, Raymond? What do you know about Eddie Guerrero? I lie, I cheat, I steal. How come they made the Mexicans say that one? Wasn't that his entrance song? I lie, I cheat, I steal. We're talking about wrestling, folks. We're talking about wrestlers. Raymond and I are talking about wrestlers, okay? You wouldn't understand. Super based sport. Isn't The Rock going back? Isn't The Rock going back to picking up large, muscular men and throwing them off ropes? What's up, Bill? So, speaking of sex, control, and the ego, you know, I've mentioned this. I've been mentioning this now and again. You know, a little bit, some days a little bit more. This attack on the men, especially, which has seemed to ramp up, or at least taken, in my opinion, fallen another rung in the ladder of standards here. Talking about Russell Brand, Danny Masterson, recent cases, recent situations. One ended in a rape conviction, 30 years in prison, if not to life. Talking about Danny Masterson, previous That 70s Show actor. Mentioned him a few times now. You guys know who I'm talking about by now. Interesting reports here, updates on the man's life here. With his wife, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍�, now turning and filing for divorce. Danny Masterson's wife makes major request in divorce filing. She, if you don't know, was at his side, defending his character with letters to the judge, pleading to the media, pleading to the jury for leniency, if nothing else, just some leniency at least, because she just cannot believe that this is true. These allegations of rape, which Danny Masterson has been convicted of, despite denying the accusations all the way, saying the encounters were all consensual. This is 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. I'm trying to find one picture of both of them. Come on, Google. That she's barely just filed a divorce. Or is that me being misogynistic? When I Google a female actress's name, I should be getting her husband. Like Nick, you Googled her. You didn't Google him. She's still an individual. She's still a woman. Okay, you didn't Google Danny Masterson and 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Okay, apparition. Okay, woke apparition yelling at me in my mind. You're right about that. Here's 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 and Danny Masterson. Yeah. So she was at his side, and I see your calls coming in. Thank you. 888-775-3773. I'll get to all of you. You know, she was by his side. Incredulous, letters of speaking about his character alongside all the friends that came out to defend him. In fact, we have a pictured here, brother and mother. Daily Mail describes them as the exhausted mom and brother of rapist Danny Masterson. I mean, is this editorial? Is this Daily Mail is not wrong? Rapist, I mean, convicted rapist, but you can see how reporting news can get a little bit lost in translation here, as Daily Mail calls Danny Masterson rapist. I mean, he is a convicted of the rape, but as we have seen on this show, and I've done a little bit more digging since, I've yet to find, from what I could tell, I'm a layman in the law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a layman. I can admit that. But I wouldn't call it cursory. It's been a couple of days now, and I've been searching for some, I don't know, smoking gun, the evidence behind this Danny Masterson rape conviction. And it seems to me like it really is just testimonies from the accusers. And now Danny Masterson had a jury, okay? He had a jury. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, because I didn't see these testimonies, I'm not going to sit here and say, should I have been one of the people on the jury I don't want to say that I would not be convinced, okay? Because I don't know. You know, you're supposed to be tried by a jury of your peers. Can you really say if you were sitting in that jury that you know? So we don't know. But from what I could tell, it's just testimonies. So no evidence, DNA evidence. I mean, what evidence can you really gather from something that happened so long ago? And I said a couple days ago with the Danny Masterson stuff that when something is, let's say, this long ago, you know, the time passed, the pain was inflicted, it's over. Let's say the person really did do it, but the time has passed. At that point, I kind of understand the kind of underpinning of the concept of the statute of limitations, because, I mean, after a certain amount of time, not only is it so muddy that beyond a reasonable doubt becomes just way too difficult to prove for any real justice, you know, that way, you know, if you believe in innocent till proven guilty and the philosophy behind it, no innocent person, it's better 100 guilty go free than one innocent go to jail. Let's say the person did do it, but so much time has passed, it would just be evil to bring it back up in that way. In most cases, in my opinion, in most cases, I think it would be just ego. You're just an unforgiving person. You might think that's crazy to say, because some of these things, we're talking about rape, we're talking about murder, we're talking about horrible things, but even those things can be forgiven. Okay, so back to this though. Masterson, wife filing for divorce, was with him all along the way. I showed you the family members here visiting. Okay, their visit came amid the bombshell announcement from 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 that she has filed to divorce the disgraced actor, despite previously supporting him throughout a grueling trial in which his traumatized victims detailed how he ruined their lives. Maybe something in the testimony, I don't know, got her going, but you got to wonder the standards of truth and justice and what this means, because like I said, for what I could tell, it's just he said, she said, okay? Masterson, 47, was jailed last week for 30 years after being found guilty of raping 2 women. And like I've shown you before, you know, summaries of the evidence here from 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏, testimony of the 3 victims. They're saying physical evidence, such as DNA. But, you know, looking into that, I find, okay, yeah, well, DNA is not a hard thing to prove, given that Danny Masterson doesn't deny contact with these people. He's saying it's consensual. So that's where the real problems come about. And I'm really looking into this, like, okay, so what led to it all? What's the smoking gun? Where's the evidence that flipped it? You know, you got 2 sides, one saying it's not true, these are just baseless accusations, and one side saying it is true. So what tipped the scales, right? I'm here looking for it. And I don't really quite see it. I don't see it. Really what tipped the scales is the jury. A jury, they made their decision. But you got to wonder, who's the jury here? The idea is to be tried by a jury of your peers. Well, your peers are retarded, like that Indian guy said. Maybe I would be in that jury, and I would hear those testimonies, and I would say, okay, I agree. This is credible. I'm not going to deny that. I'll leave space for that. But you got to understand how retarded people have become. A jury of your so-called peers would be silly people who #believe all women, or how about this? Obtuse people who would turn on Trump because he said, in that Megyn Kelly interview. That's your jury of your peers, without an ounce of common sense and understanding. So, I don't know. Interesting details here. One thing here. If you don't know, there was an original trial. It was 4 people accusing him. And it was a hung jury. The jury just couldn't agree. They did a retrial. I don't know what changed from that. I don't know what they did to change the jury to change what in the second retrial. But in the retrial, they got the 4th woman accusation that was contentious. They got rid of that. They're like, okay, let's ignore that. And they retried him. There was a couple of differences in the retrial. The prosecution was allowed to directly say that Masterson drugged all 3 women before raping them, in what may be the biggest difference from the first trial. Previously, the drugging could only be implied when the women testified to feeling disoriented, losing memory, and going unconscious to a degree that could not be explained by the alcohol they had consumed. So there you go. Interesting. Admitting to the drinking of alcohol and feeling disoriented, losing memory. They were allowed to say it was a drugging this time. They weren't quite allowed to say that before. It was implied. They were allowed to say it was a drugging. The defendant drugs his victims to gain control, said the district attorney. And the defense, of course, had their side. The defense saying no evidence of drugging. They deny the drugging. They deny all of it. Suggesting the prosecution was using the stories because of the absence of evidence of any force or violence. So to explain the absence of evidence of any violence, so no bruises, no violence, no evidence of forcing, they say, well, it's because they were drugged. The defense repeated to the jurors, there is no drugging charge. Masterson was never being charged with drugging. It was just a claim being made by the accusers. And so that's a little bit on the story. Interesting details about the accusers is how, it's 3 of them. One said she was, it's all very gray area stuff. It's not even like, okay, yeah, Nick, but look at this detail, smoking gun detail, which makes you really go, I just don't see it. One woman testifies being invited to Masterson's house. She went there, got into the jacuzzi. She said she made it clear she wanted no sex, but apparently Masterson was able to convince her to go to his bed. But I thought you made it clear you wanted no sex. Okay, well, I'll go to you to the bed, but remember, no sex, where he allegedly raped her. Well, he's convicted for that one. This other accuser saying one morning that they were together, dating for years, and then she woke up to him raping her. Which, like I said, it's like gray areas in all of these. This first accuser saying that she was drugged and her account of being drugged, could be true. Look, all I'm saying is weird times in terms of justice and evidence and all that. I just can't seem to trust it all when you have believe all women as a common enough phrase in this country. You know what I mean? Bijou seemed to support her husband throughout the trials. But yeah, crazy. Even that happens. She, I guess, went along with what people were saying. Bijou Phillips. You sure Hyde did this? I don't know what he did. I don't know if he did or didn't. I don't know if he did or didn't. It just seems like standards for justice, all-time low. So I find it hard to just... I mean, you shouldn't even take a side anyways. It's just like, whatever, this is what's going on over there. But I'm almost incensed to do so, which is wrong. But when what it seems to me, what's happening is courts and the law and even your jurors of peers can be so easily convinced by a crying testimony. Is that what I'm understanding here? Is that what's going on here? So, kind of been the topic this past few days, a little bit. It's been a little bit of the topic the past few days. I have a call here. Let me get to this call. But interesting little report from the mainstream media. Some experts, some scientists, Mr. Scientist, about love that I want to get into here a little bit. I found it interesting. It's funny because it seems like such a I don't know, daytime mom evening, like daytime TV mom story, but it's actually kind of interesting to me. We're going to get into it. But first, I have Art out of Ohio. Sir, you're on the air. Thank you for your call.
Hey, what's up? What's up with you? How you doing, Nick?
All is well, Art. Appreciate that.
I'm going to try to, because I want to come in with my intro, but I'm going to skip all past that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and first thing first, man, I like that 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 you played at the beginning of your show and stuff. It got Artie Art in as a skit in the music and whatnot.
Yeah,
man.
the intro there, you like that?
Bro, every time I get to doing the karate chops and acting like I'm ghost fighting the air with. Now, every time that music come on, man, I get to thinking about like 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔, doing my little kicks and stuff, acting like I'm disarming criminals for their weapons and stuff, man. It's crazy every time.
Because of my routine, I always end up sitting in this chair as the announcer and boxing ring bells go off. So it always feels like I'm entering the ring, just due to my routine. And I sit down and it goes ding ding. So
man,
I enjoy it too.
Man, it take me back to the early '80s, mid '80s, man. All day, every day, man. Every time I hear that music, I think that I've been meaning to say it too.
Thank you. Nice. It's an original.
Original. Nikki.
I made that in Ableton Live.
You said who?
Ableton Live. It's a program.
You made that?
Yeah.
You made that beat?
Yeah.
Bro, stop.
I have the project file on my computer, sir.
Bro, are you freaking serious? Oh yeah, that's dope, Nick. Hey, I ain't gonna even lie, that's dope, yo.
Thank you. I used the Arturia collection. The Arturia collection of synths, in fact.
Wow, I would have never believed that if you didn't just tell me that. I would never have believed.
Yeah,
that's
how you.
Great.
I use the Arturia. They make these awesome software synthesizers that model the circuitry of the old '80s synths, and so you get that cool sound.
Yeah. Wow, it gives me the '80s feel every time.
Yes, sir.
Man, for sure, definitely. So you said with that case of what I'm about to do with the grape case.
Yeah, Danny Masterson.
They said that they didn't have no evidence that he actually drugged them. So why are y'all bringing it up in the case?
Well, it's an interesting thing. The judge, in this case, allowed them to make that claim despite it not being a charge of Danny Masterson. And so he's not being charged with it or anything. And, it's a he said, she said. They say They say he drugged her. No toxicology report that I can find. No evidence like that. I read that they had some experts come on to comment on the testimony of the women and basically say if that was a drugging experience or not. But no toxicology. Okay, and Danny Masterson's camp, the defense, they say didn't happen. They deny the whole thing.
Well, just like Renee in your chat was saying earlier, was they smoking pot?
I'm trying to Google it right now. Not that if they were smoking pot, but I forget if the judge here, I believe it was a woman, which might as well be smoking pot, right?
Yeah. I just find it hard to believe that these actors or whatnot, they drinking, and they ain't doing no cocaine, no fentanyl, maybe an X pill here, or Percocet, or any of them drugs that the liberals they love to put in their blood or whatnot. These over-the-counter pharmaceutical heads.
Well, the thing with Danny Masterson is that, and his wife and his friends, they all testified, giving in character, whatever. They testified or gave character letters to Danny Masterson talking about how against drugs he is and how he's been like that for a long time. And I believe it's also due to his Scientology background that he's so averse against drugs. And there were multiple friends and his own wife, now soon to be ex-wife, coming forth saying that, testifying that he is so against drugs and he was so big on helping people, young actors, stay out of that life. So I know what you mean, though. A lot of people are in this world are, sorted into weird things. Danny Masterson at the time was at the peak of his That 70s Show career, and he might have been a different person back then. And like I just described, the testimony from these women, they admit, even though one said, "Oh, I made it clear I didn't want sex," they admit going into his bed, going into his jacuzzi, blah 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 blah. So,
yeah, So you said they was drinking.
Yes, no, that's true. That is true. They said they were drinking, but that in their testimony they were trying to describe that their feeling of wooziness was not alcohol; it was something worse.
Okay, so you said they were drinking.
Correct.
So they said that they had a loss of memory or blurry vision and got the feeling of whatnot. Where every alcohol and every wine has a different effect than let's say a Tito's, or Tito's has a different effect than let's say a tequila or a Remy. They all have different effects and give you different, just like I said, different effects. One might make you a little drowsy. One might make your vision a little extra blurry. One might make you black out and pass out and have memory loss. All them drinks, wines, have a totally different feeling. So if they said they don't have no memory or all this, they was feeling drowsy, they allegedly said they didn't want sex. Well, if you had all this so-called memory loss, who's to say you didn't come back after you said you didn't want to have sex, that you didn't turn around and say that I wanted to have sex when you ended up in this room?
Yeah.
But you don't remember nothing, so who's to say you didn't come back and say you wanted the sex?
100%, man, and all the effects they're describing: loss of memory, wooziness, dizziness. I know that the prosecution was trying to say that they were way more than the effects of alcohol, but all those symptoms are like side effects of alcohol.
Exactly.
They're literally like, if you ask a EMT, they'd probably tell you they'd probably list all those things as possible side effects of alcohol. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't need no specialist. I don't need to go to no counselor. I don't need no special what they call a special person to testify or none of that. Artie Art used to be a heavy drinker back when I was younger. I used to drink from noontime, be at the trap with my trap buddies, trapping, selling that illegal stuff allegedly or whatnot. And I know the
post it up on that corner.
Huh?
I said post it up on that corner.
Posted up on that corner out there working with allegedly Rick Ross.
Highway Ricky Ross? And the real
man.
Noriega?
Owe him 100 flavors. And I ain't talking about chicken wings. I ain't talking barbecue and lemon pepper wings.
Yeah.
Baby.
I need wings. I think I suddenly need wings today. You know, man, about that, real quick, I'll let you say what you want to say. I've heard that before about different alcohols and liquors make you feel different. And
they do.
I personally don't. I mean, I never really noticed that. Can't say I do. But so many people say that, and I believe. I don't discount all those eyewitness testimonies to that fact. So I don't want to say it's not true. I've never had that. So, but I am the same way with like for example, like cigars. People say this or that cigar. Oh, it's so amazing, so tasting. And I'll admit they'll smell very interestingly before smoking one, but they all taste like smoke and ash in a cigarette to me. It's no difference to me. Like it's all Marlboro to me.
Well, only thing you got to do is turn the weed, even cigarettes. See, cigarettes give you a different feel and a different taste and a different bud than another different cigarette, just like the weed. The weed or whatnot does too. That's why they got different names and different strands, because some give you different feel. All of them give you different feelings.
They say this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I say the spirit is the same everywhere.
Listen here, whiskey, just like Rome 13 said, whiskey, the same thing. Whiskey and moonshine, they all give you a different feeling. I don't drink all of that. But going on to leave that little subject or whatnot, I seen something that on the Hake report where the lady was talking about that Russell Brand, he was trying to get ahead of it, and he knew all these charges was going to come out, so he was building up his little warrior group of people that try to defend him and stand against these allegations. And my thing is this: he didn't have to build me up, or I don't have to like what's his name? Brand what?
Russell Brand, yeah.
I don't have to like Russell Brand or whatnot, or listen to what he's saying to know this the fish is rotten in Denmark. To know that why is it taking all this time for these allegations to come out if they happened all these years ago? Now either it's his fault or it's the police fault for not prosecuting and the prosecutor's fault for not prosecuting, bringing these charges out and waiting all these years.
That is a good point.
Something ain't right.
That is a good point. I got to say, I'm on the same boat. Before a couple of days ago, I didn't even care or think about Russell Brand. I've seen him around, and I'm like, right on. It sounds like he's like a conservative or something like that. But I don't care. Yeah. I don't need to care the same way. Now, I don't need to get all gung-ho about it. But, okay, look, I don't need to have this. He didn't make me into one of his legions that I'm now out here defending. In fact, I would say, I would even bet, now I don't know for a fact, but I would bet that it's the people closest to him and his supporters, people who call themselves his fans. Those are the people probably having trouble with it and going like, wait a second. It's the people on the outside who are, it's clear, and if you're not a deluded person and at least somewhat honest, you'll be able to see this from afar and go like, okay, well, so can we get a standard of evidence going on here? What's going on? It's probably his fans and the ones who are really close who are like, oh, I don't know.
Look, man, this is all biblical stuff.
Yep.
And even in the Bible, as already I've been trying to say or whatnot, it's been plenty of wars or whatnot that where it was started behind females with allegations, lying or whatnot. And this is what happens when you have females that are trying to put themselves in a position of power when it wasn't meant for them. To be in power. Then when they get into power and then somehow they get hurt, then they come back and try to get the same males that they were trying to prosecute and say that they didn't need the men. And it's like, well, hold up. When you got all this power, you got to be able to defend it. Or with all this power you allegedly saying as a female that you want. Or whatnot. Yeah. Same way that a king was able to defend his kingdom or whatnot. He wasn't able to just run to all these other males. I mean, don't get it wrong. Some of these kings might have got help from other males or whatnot, but they were other males. But these females or whatnot, when they getting beat over the head or verbally abused, allegedly sexually assaulted, they always trying to come to the men and be like, why ain't y'all defending them? Hold up. You shouldn't need all this defending if you allegedly saying that you want to be in power. With great power comes great responsibility, but y'all can't handle the responsibility. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I got to say, I agree. And on the Kings, please finish. My bad. I'm talking over you. Go ahead. Nah, when it comes with great responsibility, that falls on you. You want the power. You didn't want to be married and be up under no man. Oh, that's too much for you or whatnot. But now the crown is getting too heavy for your head. Now you want to do all this complaining and lying and cheating to get to the top, just like they doing with this Russell Brand thing. But go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I mean following that theme of the wrong image the woman has, is here trying to be all tough. Like you said, I gotta say, I agree. Very expertly described. There's also in the king scenario you described. There's like the other side too. At the same time, wanting to be seen as tough as equal. They'll also play innocent. They'll also play innocent, but it's a story as old as time, as old as kings themselves. How many kings brought to their knees by a woman? You know what I mean? Leaders of a nation, of an army, but brought to their knees by a woman. So a story very old.
Facts. Yep. And then my second thing, I'm gonna get off here. So what was you saying? So you saying that Trump is trying to basically. What was he saying about abortion and whatnot? That was that thing what you were saying with Trump about abortion and stuff.
So I believe it's Meet the Press. He was saying something about DeSantis and how, he criticized DeSantis' 6-week abortion ban. He called it terrible. He said what he did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. I haven't seen the clip or the interview myself. I'm reading you the mainstream media quotations of Trump, but that's what he's quoted as saying. What he did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake, talking about Ron DeSantis' 6-week abortion ban.
So what is he saying? That he thinks that it should be, 4 weeks? Or is he saying that it should be as many weeks as they want to be out?
I don't know. It's not clear to me. It's not clear to me. I didn't see the interview myself. And the articles I'm reading don't go beyond that. They don't say what Trump said after that. In fact, maybe we should watch it. But you were saying, go ahead.
Well, I hope he ain't trying to switch up or whatnot. Don't pander to that left or whatnot. They gonna feel the same way that they gonna feel regardless about you. They're not going to want to vote for that. I mean, it's clear as day. I mean, you can see how everything is being crumbled to pieces, to ashes right now with the economy, and these dummies is asking for a second term of it. They already shit deep into the mess or whatnot. They saying dig me in deeper. These dummies just want to get into the stuff, the S word stuff even deeper. So they don't even get it. So what make you think that if you turn over or whatnot and try to do anything to help with allegedly any abortion, which is against the commandments of the Bible, that they gonna roll with you? They demons. That's what it says it all in their name. Democrats. That lets you know all right there in itself. Second thing is,
I think you're right about that.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's a fair. I would say that to everybody. I would say that to any man. So I agree with you, Art. I think at the same time, supporters shouldn't, let's say he is doing that, some pandering for votes. It's like, and maybe he's wrong for that, but let the man cook, let the man be wrong. Doesn't mean we got to turn. So at the same time, we got to put emotions aside. And let's say let's say the man is just saying what he truly believes. Let's say he really is kind of okay with abortion sometimes because he's kind of a liberal. You know what I mean? I'm picking him for different reasons. Okay, I don't need him to be my savior and correct about every single thing. You were saying?
So I mean, somebody saying in the chat that he's trying a 6 week is a middle grounds. Ain't no middle grounds. I mean, There shouldn't be no abortion. Period. Why are y'all negotiating with terrorists? You know what I mean? I mean, this was something that was known back in the early 90s, in the early 80s or whatnot, when you had them people over there that was kidnapped, like in Afghanistan, and was held prisoner. Yeah. Even the one dude, what's his name, that was in Congress or whatnot. Oh, my God. He was over there in China or whatnot. They captured his plane. His plane went down or whatnot. He was a politician years later. I think he ran with Bush or something. Long story short, why are y'all negotiating with terrorists? This has always been the thing of America, that we ain't negotiating with terrorists. So why would you try to negotiate with them now or whatnot? You trying to negotiate with the dang on devil or whatnot. And the only thing this comes down to is y'all don't let these females get the vote, and y'all don't give them too much power, and y'all gonna fight like HELL to get it back, because now you compromising your moral compass to try to to just like I said, to basically negotiate with the dang old devil.
Well, I think that's generally correct. I think that's a fine thing to say. I don't disagree with you, Art. I see Trump a little differently. I see Trump, but to me, it's clear. I don't mind if he personally isn't that hard line on abortion, and yet as a president, he lets the states govern themselves. Roe v. Wade coming down, being an example of that. Like that was thanks to Trump. So I don't think we need to be. I think we could just see things for what they are. He's personally believing, has kind of liberal beliefs on abortion, but has a what's it called? Has proven himself with his history on the Supreme Court, and as we could see the fruits of that, Roe v. Wade, which is what? An example of the states governing themselves. To me, I'm happy. For me, that's good.
Yeah. So what do you think? I heard some about that he's trying to have I think the governor, which is a female, trying to be his vice president. She's a governor
For real?
of North Dakota or something like that. That's what I heard.
No, Trump, don't do it.
Man, if
he's making it
crazy.
If he's gonna pick a woman as a VP, he definitely wants to make. He definitely wants to. He wants to make it hard for me or something.
Hake is right. That's what it is. That's who it is. Hake is right. He said no, Christy, no. But
not Christy. No, he wants to make this difficult, man. He wants to make this difficult, doesn't he?
Look, I'm gonna tell you one thing. And I ain't changing. I'm gonna still roll with him. But
oh yeah.
It's just looking like Trump is just gonna have to learn the hard way or whatnot. Art from Ohio, baby, still rolling with Trump. But I tell you one thing, he ain't gonna learn his lesson or whatnot. He thinking that he gonna go get a VP, alleged female VP, and it ain't gonna turn out good for him. But it's a sad day in America to where a man can't find a sturdy, upstanding alpha male and a strong man to run as a VP. That he got to run with a female, because that's the only thing that's out there in the field just looking like.
I agree.
They might have a moral compass when Adam and Eve tell you that the female ain't got no moral compass. So this is let you know where America's going. So just like I said, whether Trump get in there or not, America's just effed off.
No, I think you're correct. I think in general you're true. No, that's true what you're saying, man. I agree. I mean this sincerely. If there is one man that I would trust to have a female VP, it would be interesting to see how he handles that. I bet you he'd make her work. It would be Trump. I mean that sincerely. It might be cringe to some, but honestly, if we're gonna see a female VP, it'd be interesting to see Trump do it. Like he'd make her work, or she gets fired. He'd make her work, or she gets fired.
Well, if he ain't learned all his lessons from all these females coming at him and trying to attack him or whatnot, now or whatnot, he just ain't gonna get the writing on the wall or whatnot. But I'm still rolling with him. He got to figure it out. That's something he got to figure out,
Fair enough. Right on, Art. Well, thank you for that.
I'll catch you later, Gator.
Call me again. Take care. Yeah. Interesting stuff. What was it that Art said? I wanted to say something. Oh, yeah, there was the Trump interview. I mean, I guess we should watch the comments. Why not, right? I think I may have found the moment here in the Meet the Press interview with Trump recently in these comments about abortion. I mean, is that clear to you guys? Do you see the difference between his, I guess, statements and personal opinion of abortion and then his, documented history supporting the Supreme Court, supporting the takedown of Roe v. Wade and all that? You see the difference in that? I believe I have the comments here. Trump. Okay, hold on. Is this muted or something? Why is this? Meet the Press. Okay, we're trying to watch this video. Okay. Can we get some audio? Oh, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I found the culprit.
to get to.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
There are a number of things
We're
that
rocking
make
and
your
rolling
campaign
now. We're cooking with gas now. Now let's search the transcript of the video, and I'll get to my call here. I'll get to my callers here in a moment. Sorry. I will get to you here. Now let's do a little search of the transcript here. And you know what I mean? So we can, I just had it here, but YouTube wants to be obtuse. I had done this work already.
President Trump, welcome
while
back
I had
to
my
me.
caller, Art. I had already searched the transcript, and it's just gone. It's just poof. And I'm looking for the word terrible. I'm looking for the word terrible, not tremendous. Because that is what he's quoted as saying. He's talking about Ron DeSantis, terrible mistake. He said it's a terrible mistake.
And we'll end up with peace on that
Here it
issue
is.
for
Let's see if we can find the comments.
the first time in 52 years. I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a
Let's back it up. Hold on.
abortion after a certain period of time. 2% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
If
Okay, let's back it up a little more.
Up with a number of weeks or months, you're going.
Okay,
After
maybe it's a little bit
birth,
more.
a very clear sign.
Okay, let's get the
Give
question from
voters.
the reporter. We're doing some live digging, some journalism here.
Who are going to be weighing in on this election?
Yeah.
A very clear sense of
I
where
think
you stand on this.
they're all going to like me. I think both sides are going to like me.
Let me- but let
What's
Mr.
going to
President-
have to
Mr.
happen
President,
is you're
let me
going to have
just
to
ask this question,
listen.
please.
You're asking me a question. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with a number of weeks or months. You're going to come up with a number that's going to make people happy, because 92% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
If a federal ban landed on your desk, if you were reelected, would you sign it at 15
Are you
weeks?
talking about a complete ban?
A ban at 15 weeks?
Well, people are starting to think of 15 weeks. That seems to be a number that people are talking about right now.
Would you sign that?
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years. I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that
I
goes
think what
too
he
far?
did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. But we'll come up with a number. But at the same time, Democrats won't be able to go out in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months and allow an abortion. And Kristen, you have to look at this because you said no. You have some states.
That is so different than how some people are describing this. He's like he's basically pro-choice. People are describing this moment as like the way my title to the stream is describing it. Trump goes pro-choice? What? He's clearly very measured here. Very clear to me that he wants to be a president to all Americans. It's very clear to me he wants to, you know what I mean? That's just clear to me. It's clear to me that he's saying how he's talking here. He wants to be a president for all people. He very clearly doesn't want just abortion. Like he says it here.
You think that
I
goes
think what
too
he
far?
did is a terrible thing.
He didn't like what Ron DeSantis did, but that doesn't mean in 7-8 months Democrats will get to go out here and say an abortion is whenever you want it.
Democrats won't be able to go out in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months and allow an abortion.
Amazing. I mean, it's so different than, yes, Nick getting them clickbaits. You know, I gotta get me my clickbaits every now and again. And we all have our own personal thoughts on abortion. Like I would go farther and say, well, it's not okay. Even if the baby was made out of rape, I wouldn't say that two wrongs don't make a right. You don't just because he was made out of rape, you don't go around killing someone. You know what I mean? That's just how I see it. But I mean, just watching this is already a lot clearer than people are making it out to be. So glad we did that. I have another caller here. And then I have an interesting little report on a little word called love. Justin, Fullerton, California, you're on the air. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. How you been?
All right. With all this R-word stuff going around,
I should be saying grape. Grape soda.
I'm perplexed. You kind of answered my question here. How come people are more focused on this British guy, the 70s show guy, Masterson, the Trump situation with the accusation of him doing sexual assault. What's up with that comparison to the numerous statistically proven by the United Nations refugee rapes, not just in Sweden and in Europe when the Syrians went over there and all the Middle Easterns went over there, and the Africans went over there. But what about over here? Really? I mean, how come nobody's carrying that on a daily basis? These rapists, these abortionists, future abortionists, what are you going to do with all these babies that they're going to have to abort because they were raped? That's how they think. So if they think it's okay, it just seems like, how come, it seems like it's kind of biased. Who even cares about these rich people's situation? You know they're just gold diggers. All the people that are going after people 20 years later, 10 years later, that didn't immediately call the police, what was it? Was it coercion? Wow. And with the reports that do come in from the immigrants to the citizens of this country, you know, and people that are immigrants themselves that got raped, what are they saying about them? They're not caring about them then. It just seems very lopsided.
So interesting, man. If you have any of that reporting or stats or whatever on the refugees or whatever, yeah, send that over. Yeah, right. I mean, radio at JesseLeePeterson.com.
But
it's interesting what you're bringing up because it's true.
A lot of Africans are the ones that are doing it. They're the highest percentage of it, but I don't know why. I just don't know why if they track it, they're not making a big deal about it. Why is the rich people getting the biggest deal about it when at the end of the day all they want is money? They're not going to say,
because it's all within the margin. It's all within the margin of, you got to understand that these people are playing Sim City with us, okay? Okay, they're playing a video game. And it's all within the margin of reasonable chaos, a reasonable amount of, to them, there is a reasonable amount of refugee rape. There's a reasonable amount of homeless, deranged people on the street. There's a reasonable amount, okay? So it's all within their margins as long as you could keep the gravy train going a little bit and you keep a semblance of stability and all that, right? So,
but the Me Too movement is not talking about sexual assault on the border or the abortions that come after it and how systemically it's become a routine thing where they glaze over human tragedy, where they don't have lawyers to ask for millions of dollars, nor do they care what happens to the existing, children that funnel into this country.
Man, so true.
Problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not about. Because it's not about. Me Too is not about the victims and all that. Okay. That's why. Because it's not about that. It's not about finding. It's not about stopping all future, sexual abuse from the men. It's not about that. It's a shakedown. It's an angry shakedown. Because the underpinning of a Me Too is love, right? They think it's love, so they could stop the hate. They could stop the evil men, all the sexual abuse, blah blah blah. So they see it as that, but it's like an angry backlash, accusations, etc.
Oh, okay. It just seems a lot of wasted energy. Everybody's getting mad at Ashton for saying certain things. They're getting mad at others that are dismissive of other people's cases. It's supposed to have been something very urgent that the person brought up, and I don't see if they were paid off not to speak up at the time, and it wasn't enough money, or they were coerced into it. But what would be the basis of not bringing up something that's an urgent matter? I'm not sure there's a statute of limitation on reporting of crime until waiting someone's wealth increases to a certain margin that you're ready to punish the person.
You're asking why some of these women why it took them so long?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a question it's a fair question, probably many wonder. And I'm not going to say I think there's some truth to this notion of being too afraid to come out, wondering if people would believe you and all that. That does not mean you get to suspend basics like justice, innocent until proven guilty. It doesn't mean you get to suspend all that. I mean, I'm willing to be measured and honest and understanding, and I think that's possible. And I think it's true. Women being maybe somewhat afraid for whatever reason. But like I said, it doesn't mean you get to suspend justice and all the stuff that's going on.
It's disenfranchising even the people at the refugee, situation that are there amongst the other rapists. But the ones that are going out there proliferating that and don't get justice, it just seems like they're well knowing. The United Nations knows it worldwide, where citizens get raped from other people from other countries. So if there's no background check, why don't they just put everybody there that could be potentially a criminal like that, segregated from the women who get the highest cases of that, actually, And again,
because that's hate. Because that's hate. That's discrimination, and that's hate. It's love. Yes, there's raping and stuff going on, and they are aware of it, and they see the stats. They see, well, when we put all these people in this area, rapes go up. That being said, that's not hateful. It's still being loving because, for whatever reason, I don't know, diversity or something.
Well, if they talk about equity as they do, they definitely don't need to be paying attention to all the rich people's situations, and they need to be focused on the average common denominator, that you put a bunch of people together in bad situations where there's no protection for these women and children, that's going to happen. So for anything, they need to stop the border because of that reason from being wide open. And I don't know why. I see lots of people from Asia or Africa coming through the border or Middle East, but I guess...
You're so right, Justin. I've suddenly hashtag me too. I hope you're with me. I hope you're with me, man. We're Me Too. Today, the Anchor Baby has joined the Me Too movement.
Okay.
So true, man. Me Too for the border. Me Too for all the stuff going on in the border.
Yeah, we should shout a prayer out for all the people that are being preyed upon on the border, and if
the people coming through the border preying upon the people already here, all over the country.
Exactly, and they have no record. If I could situate it, just give everybody ankle bracelets and put them in a hotel until they're situated. They can still work in the hotel. They could, do translation, or they could do cleaning, or
I say enslave them and make them fight World War III.
Yeah, and give them free food.
Make them do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So good talking with you.
Always a pleasure, Justin. Call me again.
All right.
All right. All right. What are we doing now? What shall we do next? I see your calls. I will get to you. Hold on. Might as well do it. CJ, Texas, on the air, sir. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, CJ? Thank you for your call.
Hey, congrats on having a really good, decent show.
Hey, right on, sir. Appreciate that.
It's awesome. You talk about real good topics, kind of frontline news. After I get done listening about the pop culture, girly, Ellen DeGeneres, gay stuff on the Hake Report, I can turn into you.
I know who I'm talking to now. I suspected. I realize who I'm talking to, man. Thanks for your call.
Hake needs to he needs to take a page out of your book about what to talk about. I mean,
but I'm just copying Hake,
great
though.
Stuff, man.
But I'm just copying Hake. I'm just a Hake clone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the first part of your show. Were you talking about Ellen all day long?
No. I remember, I think it was you who said something similar about my show, though. I think you said something like, you're making it homosexual and something gay about my show. And I'm like,
maybe
well, you're watching. And I was all like, Fucci face. I was all Fucci face. I was like, oh yeah, well,
burn, man. Jeez, well, you're in the chat that you're calling retarded. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you're getting yourself confused with Joel Friday. His show sucks, but your show's awesome.
Man, CJ, it's hard to pin you down. I don't know if you like us or not. I think you do.
No, I like your show, and I like Hake's show. I just wish Hake would. Hake is just. Dude, he's at 180 viewers. Anyway, this is not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was...
I love edification. I love criticism. I'm not going to say I'm the one who takes it the best all the time.
I like your show. I didn't
Thank you,
say
sir. I'm commenting.
No
worries. I'm just making a random comment out of what you're saying. I'll let you get to what you want to say, though. But with my comment here, I like edification. I like, criticism and all that, and then there's like,
and then there's what I do.
I think you have plenty of great criticisms, but you're reminding me of I guess counter signaling in Joel Friday's chat. Honestly, what I was about to do was kind of circle the wagons a bit, but I don't need to do that. CJ, Texas, please, by all means, on what you want to talk about.
Okay, well, your last caller, in this kind of like, I don't know, like I don't really ever get upset or frustrated or anything, but I keep hearing people say things like, no one cares about the women getting raped on the border because it's not in the news, right?
Okay.
And all I want is somebody
gotcha.
to say, like, do you only care about what's in the news?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you, do you only care about what's in the news?
I want to say no. I think I should say no, but I don't think my show is kind of proving me wrong.
Okay. Well, but people have a right to run a business and try to make money off it, right? Like a landlord shouldn't just let you live in their house for free, although that would be great for the renters.
True.
The people need to make money off of their enterprise and their business, okay? So let me sum up the woman getting raped at the border story. Some woman you never heard of, raped by some man she never knew, and got away, and we don't even know the names of these individuals. End of story.
True.
Like what else are you going to add into the story? Like details about how she got raped? That's the story. It's done. Danny Masterson is this. Woman got raped by a powerful individual who is backed by a cultic church who went to great lengths and spent lots of money to propel this guy into a position of power, culture, influence in society. And he used that to take advantage of a woman and rape her. And he got away with it for 20 years on multiple girls. I mean, okay, that's a story. You can sell that as a business. It doesn't mean we don't care about the girls getting raped at the border. It's just, it's not a story. Like, yeah, it's a statistic, right? You can't make a story out of a statistic, right? Oh, this guy died in a head-on collision today, and he had a family of 4. End of story, right? Donald Trump died in a car collision today. Well, he was president, and the country is without a president. Like, okay, they both died in car accidents. It doesn't mean we don't care about the guy that died. It's just, it's not a story, right?
I'm following you.
So when these people say, oh, well, it didn't make a story, so nobody cares. That's just like, so cringe to hear. Anyway.
But don't you think?
I guess that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
like,
I think I understand what you're saying.
Danny Masterson's a big thing. And then he's like, well, they're just gold digging.
Yeah.
Like, why did they come up with it 13 years ago? I guarantee you,
people
Danny
like
Masterson
stories.
was worth
You're
more
so right.
money 13 years. Danny Masterson was worth more money when he raped these girls than he is today. I mean, he was a superstar when he raped these girls.
Right.
They're not like waiting 13 years until he's an obscure nobody. You're like, okay, now I'm going to get him. Most
Why do you think it is
people
then?
today don't even know who he is. When he raped these girls, he was like the most popular person in society. They could have just come forward. The thing is that these girls are like, I don't know if you know this about the Church of Scientology, but they do threaten people, and they do send people to your home, and they do gang stalk you, and they do crazy stuff. And so it probably took a long time for these, like, I get like, there's different situations. But when you're talking about the Church of Scientology and you listen to Lena and you listen to all these people that, like, this church goes after you when you leave it. They go after you hard. And it probably did take a lot for these girls to feel safe coming forward against the church. It's not about the rape accusations. It's not about that. It's about anybody that has a problem with the Church of Scientology that used to be a member. They get harassed really bad.
I see what you're saying, man. It sounds like you took the like accuser sides out of, and it sounds like you took their side out of a I don't know, a mentality against Scientology. Is that fair to say?
I haven't taken their side. I'm not saying he's even guilty. I don't even know the case. What I'm saying is, it's not okay to say that you don't care about that society doesn't care about something because the newspaper doesn't print it. It's a business and they write stories. They're not in the business of trying to tell you what you need to know. They're in the business of selling you what you want to read.
I got you. So,
and that's a legitimate business.
I totally understand what you're saying. I'm totally understanding what you're saying, CJ. But barring my previous caller's mentality, whether he's wrong or right about what the media and their reporting and what it means about the public's mentality at large, do you see the common man caring about the rapes from refugees? Do you see that in your life? Do you see that? Do you think that's generally ignored or generally known about and cared about?
I don't think they should care about it at large. I don't think the common man should go around all day long worrying about border crossing rape all day long. I think he should go to work, provide for his family, and defend his family. I don't think he
okay, true. You're right about that. But you're also answering my question.
You should spend a little bit. You should care about it enough, like a political issue.
I agree.
But you
make a good point.
Sit there and obsess over it.
I think you make a good point, and I agree. But also, you answered my question. You agree then that most people don't care. You're saying they shouldn't, but also kind of answering my question that most people don't care. Is that what you're also saying?
No.
Oh, okay. So do people? Do you see? So then again, let me just repeat my question, CJ. Hold on. I'll let you say what you want to say. I'll let you say what you want to say. But let me just repeat my question then for to keep things accurate. Do you see the common person caring about that? I know you said they shouldn't. They should just work. But in your estimation,
see the common person caring about it.
In your estimation, do you think the average person knows and or cares about rapes coming from refugees in America?
You mean refugees getting raped?
No, refugees doing the raping of Americans and other refugees.
Okay, because I know, like on the southern border, a lot of the refugees coming across the border, a lot of those women get raped.
Right, but my previous caller was also commenting on the out of control raping that the refugees are doing, whether it is refugees or American citizens.
I know it's really out of hand in Europe.
Right, he's trying to say that it's out of hand here.
I live in Texas, and it's not that like the biggest thing is.
It sounds like you suddenly care about it. It sounds like now that you realize the refugees are raping American citizens, do you feel different about the story now?
I care about anybody getting raped. It's horrible.
Interesting.
Like, do you really think that like I'm pro-immigrant or something?
I don't think you are. No, I don't think that you're saying that or implying that at all. It's just that
I think
it sounded like you were saying.
I'm not even pro-legal immigration. I think people just need to stay where they're born at and make their families there and live in their culture, eat the foods that are indigenous to their land and stay there. And if your system's broken, fight and fix it. Don't go anywhere else.
Fair enough, man. I agree.
Stand there like a man, defend your land. If like you're being overrun by communists, just start killing them.
I disavow YouTube, I guess. Look.
I disavow you. Hey, look, I don't want you to suffer the click, man.
No, I was going to say something, but I'm getting lost. I wanted to ask you something. It just sounded like.
Get out of the woods.
Yeah. It sounded like, I guess it just sounded like you were saying that, well, nobody should care about the rapes going on there. But then when it's rapes that are coming from refugees against American citizens, it felt like your mentality about the whole thing changed. And it's true what you're saying.
I don't know where you're coming from. All I was telling you is that it's not that the rapes, what I told you is it's not that we don't care because they're in the news. Everybody cares. It's just not news.
Gotcha.
My entire thing was
you need someone like you or I to make the story.
Hold on. The first thing I told you is we care about these girls getting raped at the borders and being raped by refugees. What I said is it's not newsworthy.
Right. Yeah, you can't make a big story out of it. You need someone like you or I to make the story. We need to give them the beginner. No, I heard your argument.
But my argument was that of course we all care, and it's a fallacy to say nobody cares because it's not in the news. That's what I said from the get-go is we all care. And for this guy to say, well, nobody cares because it's not in the news, I said, no, we all care about stuff that's not in the news. Just because it's not in the news doesn't mean that nobody cares.
But that's a lie too, man. You don't care.
Huh?
That's a lie too, man. We don't care. You don't care. We don't care. People don't really care. We may believe it's wrong. We may believe it's wrong, but to say we
Nick,
care.
when I call into your show, you can't out me as a sociopath that doesn't care, and I just pretend to have feelings. We all know it, but
I'm not saying this is
you're not
unique
allowed
about
to,
you.
Like, say it. What?
This is not unique about you. This is not unique about you. Nobody. That's a lie, man. Nobody cares about.
No, I know. JLP said everybody's Jeffrey Dahmer, right?
We're one
We're all
hoop and a
Jeffrey
holler
Dahmer.
away from Jeffrey
We're
Dahmer.
all I believe the title of the video is "We Are All Jeffrey Dahmer."
That's just the title of the video. What JLP said.
And no one is better than a child molester.
But now you're being obtuse, unnecessarily.
I don't.
Now you're just being
Trying to make your show entertaining, man.
No, I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. I'm just commenting on your obtuseness.
I'm having the best day of my
fun.
life. Dude,
I'm calling
today,
you obtuse, but I'm having fun doing it. I appreciate your call. Trust me. This is all in good fun. But that's
today,
hold
I
on.
got a call from
No. We're not moving on. That is, you're being obtuse. You're just saying. Oh,
the wheels are not
Jesse.
moving.
No, the wheels are not moving. That Jesse's saying. I forgot now. Frig it. What a mess.
Man, I've had more fun talking to you than hey, man. This is
What a
great.
mess. We're two hoops and a holler. You're saying he didn't say that is two hoops and a holler.
Next time I fly out to California, I'm going to take you guys all out to a non-gay dinner.
Thank you, sir. Well, that would be nice, CJ. That would be nice. Right on, man.
Oh, no, today.
One more time for me.
The San Antonio Police Department called me up and said, we recovered your stolen car that's been stolen for 7 days.
Wow, you got that back?
Yeah,
I
dude.
feel like I heard about that.
I don't think you heard about it yet.
Okay. Well, you had a car stolen and now you got it back? Well, right on, man.
Yeah, my car was stolen last week, man. And, it's pretty much a write-off if you live in Texas because they just steal the cars and drive them right across the border to Mexico and chop them up.
Wow.
But they have no idea why. But the ignition was all screwed up. The door lock was fine. And they called me up and they said, dude, we just towed your car from behind a CVS. We found it, and it was almost in the same condition I left it, pretty much. I mean,
fascinating, man. Well, I'm glad you got your car back, sir. Hey, call me again.
Great state of Texas. Peace out, man. Have a good show. Bye.
You too, sir. Moving the wheels. I feel like that went by like a whirlwind. There was a couple of things I want to say there coming on, but it's just gone. It came and went. I got to be more aware next time this whirlwind comes through. But I do appreciate your call, CJ. It was a pleasure. But it's like the Tasmanian devil. I got to keep my wits about me next time this whirlwind comes a-blowing through. Being enlightened till I rise with the Rumble rant. You can rant on Rumble. Thank you. Says, Nick, I can kind of agree on the abortion thing with Trump only because bans only work to perpetuate the problem. What do you think? Interesting being enlightened till I rise. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't really know. I think about what did they call it when they banned alcohol? What did they call it? They called it something. Abolition? No. They called it something when they wanted to ban alcohol, and I heard that it worked, but I also heard it didn't work. It made it worse. It made it better. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. But on this, I think we can agree. Leaving it up to the states, leaving it up to the locales on how to run their areas makes sense to me. Because if the people are messed up, probably with some limitations, they should be allowed to be messed up. You know what I mean? Okay. Thank you for the Rumble rant. Be Fit to Be Fit with the super chat there on YouTube says, you should talk about pop culture girls. Ellen and gays all show long like Hake does. You only have 2/3 of his viewers, but talking to Art is a start. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Be Fit to Be Fit. I think that may be someone we know, someone who may have already called me. But thank you for the super chat there, sir. Yes. What else was I going to say? That is all, sir. That is all ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Let's just do this. I know I guess we could say we're overtime. I never did say when this show ends. Once this network fleshes out a little better, I might have to have a more definite end time. I've been ending at 2 hours in. But I did tease this story. And I said I was going to talk about a little thing called love. A little thing called love, right? It's kind of a dumb story, but listen, this might be a little bit like afternoon stay-at-home mom story or something. But it was a little thing on Daily Mail. It was these experts, these scientists, Mr. Scientists, really smart people, got together at Aalto University in Finland. These expert Finnish people, okay, so smart people, Aalto University. Well, they're saying they have finally mapped out 27 different types of love. They say that love can be experienced in countless wonderful and wacky ways. Okay, whether it's butterflies in the stomach or tingles in the groin. These scientists at Aalto University, they say there's 27 different types of love, of this feeling called love, and they mapped it out in the body and the exact body parts it affects. They put out these diagrams. In these diagrams, they look like heat. They look like heat maps, kind of like when you have like a thermal camera and you see how hot something is. The brighter the area, the hotter it is what you're looking at. And so these diagrams produced by the Finland-based team asked hundreds of participants to describe the sensation of love and what it meant to them. And so putting together all these participants, they mapped out an average and a sort of heat map, if you will, of the sensations of love in the body and the words people use to describe said sensation. It was noteworthy, though not very surprising, that the types of love associated with close relationships are similar and are the most strongly experienced. Love between persons is divided into sexual and non-sexual. The types of love that are particularly close to each other are those that have sexual or romantic dimension. Let me show you the diagram. Let me show you this little diagram. Not diagram, I guess, or heat map. The heat map of love. The heat map of love, right? Can I zoom in? Can we get a zoom in, Daily Mail? Excuse me, garçon. Garçon, can I get a zoom in? There it is. As you can see, this is a heat map of love. And on the right, we see the effects size. The brighter, the more effect, the sensation. You following? Okay. Starting with what looks to be the brightest, strongest, it's not everywhere in the body, but it is the brightest, is passionate love, which is felt in, as you can see, very bright in the head, in the chest, and in the groin area. The brightest love is this passionate love. In fact, the researchers here say passionate love was perceived as the most powerful of all, with an impact on the entire upper body, brain, and groin area. And so it goes on here. You see true love. This next one here is true love. Not as bright, but is all over the body, as you can see. It's a feeling all over the body. True love. Love for life. Also bright and all over the body as well. Not as bright as passion or true love, but a love for life. A joie de vivre, as they say. Joie de vivre. Romantic love, also very bright, very brain, chest, growing heavy. Sexual love, very bright in one particular area. Love for her child, also very strong, amongst the strongest of all the loves. A mother's love for her child. A love of nature, very cerebral, very in the brain, very bright in the brain, and it spreads to the rest of the body, but very cerebral love, a love of nature. Reciprocal love, and it goes on, unconditional love. There's all these loves. Compassionate love. A father's love for his child. Not as bright, let me just say, not as bright. Not as bright as a woman, as a mother's love for her child, but still in the chest and in the head. Okay? It's brighter in the groin for the mother's love for her child, but I don't know. We don't need to get into that. In my opinion, there's some, anyways, whatever. Meanwhile, a love for strangers, and controversially, the writers say, the researchers here write, they say it's controversial. Meanwhile, a love for strangers and, controversially, God were among the weakest forms, with a less explosive effect on the mind and the body. JLP right again, says Carver, so true. Yet again, the experts, it took scientists decades. It took scientists decades and research and millions of university dollars to arrive to a truth that JLP has been saying for 30 years. But yeah, check it out. The least explosive effects and sensations on the body were the love of God, love for strangers, and love for God, moral love of wisdom, love for God, love for one's country. They're very weak with not very bright areas here. Now, it's funny that the love of God is brighter than love for strangers and practical love. I wonder if any of that brightness is affected by Bible thumpers, thinking they have a love for God. But isn't that funny? Isn't that interesting? The least sensitive, the least sensual, the least passionate, and the practical love, logical love, is the least felt. And now you might think, well, that's because people don't love God. People out here don't really love God, or else their whole body would shine bright with the love of God. The heat map would go off the charts if they really loved God. But I don't think so. I think the love of God really isn't that. It should not be on this heat map. It really isn't. It's not all this passion, and I don't know if these researchers will be able to get to that, But right on, researchers at Aalto University, Finnish researchers, someone send them a Jesse Lee Peterson video. It might help their research. Someone add Jesse Lee Peterson videos to their research. It might help them out. It might help them with their conclusions, because they might be up a certain creek without a paddle. You know what I mean? Just something I found a little somewhat halfway interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show, and the callers, the Rumble rants, the super chats, and all that. I sure enjoyed it. I appreciate it. I hope you did too at home. We'll have more. What are you guys saying about this? What about love for fat chicks? That might be pretty bright for some, Rich L. Love for God. Where's the love for dogs? Is there a love for dogs in the heat map? Did we see a love for dogs, animals? There's a love for nature. Companionate love. They said the one here is companionate. That might be a euphemism for animal love. Dog love, companionate love. Love for non-human animals. Look at that. Wait a second. What the heck? They're calling it a love for non-human animals. So are there human animals? Someone help me understand this one. Love for non-human animals as opposed to love for human animals? Amazing stuff. Incredible stuff coming out of academia. Whew. All right, y'all. Well, that's the show. I'm going to sign off here. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow Thursday at 12. Tomorrow, Thursday at 12, we got more American Anchor Baby. We got more Hake Report, and of course, more JLP show tomorrow. Appreciate you guys being with me today. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to sign off maybe 2 more times here. As I get this right, we'll do the sign off here correctly. We'll disappear. How about that? We'll do a little disappearing act, Houdini style. All right, y'all. How about this? One final sign off for today, Wednesday. I will see y'all tomorrow. Don't forget to sweep the leg of the like button. Thank you, Rome13 in the chat. Peace, y'all. See you tomorrow. Take care.